Hi, this is Steve talking today about rewrites. How do you approach rewrites is the question. What should you do and what's the plan for rewriting a piece? So I recently created a short play for a contest and sent it off the other day. And I had a draft of it and I showed it to people and I got some feedback. And then I was working to try to figure out what I wanted to do with my rewrites. So that leads me to this conversation. And look, rewrites are, you got to do what feels right to you based on what you feel about the piece. Sometimes I look at my pieces and I'm thinking, well, I really want to tighten up these relationships. Or sometimes I think, well, these characters aren't incredibly well defined and I want to sharpen who they are. Or I want to deal with dialogue and I need to do a dialogue pass because this character is from Brooklyn and doesn't sound like it, or this character is from Britain and doesn't sound like it, or could sound like it more, or I really think the piece ought to be shorter. So basically what I do when I rewrite is the first thing is I strategize in my mind and sometimes on paper, what's the list of things I need to tackle? Then I make a list. And again, from my gut, there's dialogue stuff. That's maybe, number one on the list. There's character things, might be number two. There's the length of the piece. There's always proofreading in terms of spelling and all those things. So I make that list either in my brain or on paper. And then I just decide what my order of operations is and should be. I say to myself, well, you know what? I'm going to go through and I'm going to tackle the character stuff first. And I go to those sections and I whatever comes out of me that corrects or sharpens whatever it is I'm up to. And I go through the whole thing based on that. Then I'll come back to the next thing on the list and the next and the next. And then once I do that, I may have another reading, or one of the things I often do is I read my work out loud because having been trained as an actor, with a history of playing characters, I can embody the characters. I can hear them in my head. I can give voice to them and see how that dialogue feels or sounds. And then I may come up with another list and go back in. And I basically keep doing this until I feel like I've pretty much got what I like, got what feels good for the piece in terms of not perfection, but in terms of my ideal sense of what this piece might be for the moment, and sometimes I feel like this is as far as I can get it, or, this feels pretty much like what I think it ought to be. And then I may get another reading, or I may send it out if it's a contest, or I'm submitting it to someplace. Or maybe sometimes I just ran out of time if I'm on a deadline, say on a TV show or something. So basically, I create a system. I come up with a list of things. I go through that list. I go back through. I read. I come up with another list. And that's the way I rewrite until I've hit everything on my list. And I feel like it's as good as I can get it, or it feels like the thing that I want it to be. So I hope that's helpful for you. If there are things that you do in rewriting or that you have questions about from what my methodology is, please put them below. Also, like this video if these suggestions resonate with you, and subscribe to this channel so that you can get to see other videos. I make one of these every single week about the writing life. And check out yourcreativelife.com, where there's more stuff about my coaching, the podcast I have, the free newsletter I have every month, all of those things for you so that you can improve and sharpen your creative life. Thanks for watching.